Imagine failing your job interview at the only company you ever dreamed of working for. Then imagine your factory getting bombed twice during a world war. Then imagine an earthquake destroying what was left. Most people would quit. Most people would go home. But Soichiro Honda wasn't most people. This is the story of a poor boy from a tiny Japanese village, no degree, no money, no connections, who built one of the most powerful automotive empires on Earth. And the secret? He never once let failure have the final word.
Honda is not going to sell you this car.
And it could be dangerous.
In 1906, in a small village of Komio, Japan, a blacksmith named Gihei Honda had a son. They named him Soichiro. The family was poor. His father repaired bicycles and farmed to survive. There were 9 children. Money was always tight. But Soichiro had something most kids didn't: obsession. The first time he saw an automobile, a Ford Model T, rolling through his village, he was 8 years old. He chased it down the road, breathing in the exhaust like it was perfume. He later said that was the moment he knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life. School? Not so interesting to him. Books? Boring. Engines? Now that was a different story. At 15, with nothing but a letter of recommendation from his school principal and a burning hunger in his chest, he boarded a train to Tokyo, alone, and walked into a car repair shop called Art Shokai, begging for a job. They made him a babysitter, literally. He spent his first months watching the owner's baby while the mechanics worked on cars around him. But he watched, he studied, he absorbed everything. And slowly, they let him touch the machines.
By his early 20s, Soichiro Honda had become one of the best mechanics in Tokyo. His boss trusted him enough to send him back to his hometown to open a branch of Art Shokai. He dominated local racing. He built his own race car, modified, tuned, faster than anything around. He drove it himself. He crashed it badly once, breaking his face and his wrist. His brother was thrown from the vehicle. Most people would stop racing after that. Honda went back and built a faster car. But here's where things get really interesting. In the late 1930s, Honda had an idea: piston rings. He believed he could manufacture them better and cheaper than anyone in Japan. He studied metallurgy obsessively. He even enrolled in a technical school, not to get a degree, but just to learn what he needed. He dropped out the moment he had knowledge. The school actually tried to withhold his diploma. His response? A diploma has about the same value as a cinema ticket. He mortgaged his house. He built a tiny factory. For 2 years, he failed over and over. His piston rings kept cracking, kept failing quality tests. His wife sold her jewelry to keep them afloat. Then, finally, he cracked the formula. Toyota tested his piston rings. They passed. He had a contract. He had a future. And then, the bombs fell.
World War II hit Japan like a hammer. Honda's factory was bombed by American B-29s twice. What the bombs didn't destroy, a massive earthquake in 1945 finished off. Soichiro Honda was 39 years old, sitting in the rubble of everything he had built, with almost nothing left. He sold what remained of his piston ring company to Toyota for just enough money to survive. And then, and this is the part that separates legends from ordinary men, he sat back, relaxed, and did nothing productive for almost a year. He drank sake with friends, he experimented, he played. He called it letting the mind reset. In 1946, Japan was devastated. Food was scarce, fuel was impossible to find. People were desperate just to move, to get from one place to another. Honda looked at this problem and saw an opportunity.
Post-war Japan was a broken country. Food was rationed. Fuel was nearly impossible to find. People could barely move from place to place. One day, while searching through old military surplus equipment, Soichiro found a small generator engine, the kind used to power radio equipment during the war. He stared at it, turned it over in his hands, and a simple but brilliant idea formed in his mind. What if he attached this engine to a bicycle? It wasn't a revolutionary concept in theory. Motorized bicycles existed in Europe, but in a destroyed, fuel-starved Japan, it was exactly what people needed. In 1946, with a small warehouse and a team of just 12 men, Soichiro established the Honda Technical Research Institute. They modified surplus engines and bolted them onto bicycle frames. The result was an instant hit. Orders came pouring in. When the surplus engines ran out, Soichiro designed his own. In 1947, the first engine to carry the Honda name rolled out of the workshop. In 1948, the Honda Motor Company was officially born.
But here's what most people don't know about Honda's rise. He almost destroyed the company himself. Honda was a genius engineer, but a chaotic businessman. He was impulsive, emotional, stubborn. He once chased an employee around the factory with a wrench because of a mistake. He was brilliant and impossible. Enter Takeo Fujisawa, the man Honda himself called his other half. A sharp, calm, business-minded partner who handled finance, sales, and sanity, while Honda handled engines and innovation. Together, they were unstoppable. In 1949, they released the Dream D-Type, a proper motorcycle with a proper engine. It was a sensation. In 1958, they launched the Super Cub, a small, lightweight, affordable motorcycle that would go on to become the best-selling motor vehicle in human history. Over 100 million sold, more than any car ever made. Honda entered the American market when everyone said it was impossible. The US was a Harley-Davidson world. Big bikes, loud bikes, tough bikes. Honda came in with small, clean, friendly motorcycles and the slogan, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." America fell in love. Soichiro needed capital to grow, so he did something bold. He hand-wrote an appeal letter and sent it to all 18,000 bicycle shop owners in Japan. 3,000 of them responded with funding. The company's first complete motorcycle, the Model D, was released in 1949. It was too heavy and slow, so Soichiro scrapped it and went back to the drawing board. After years of refinement, the result was the Super Cub. Lightweight, affordable, reliable. It won the Emperor's Prize. It changed everything. By 1958, the Super Cub had reached the United States, priced at just $295, a fraction of what American and British motorcycles cost. It outsold Harley-Davidson and Triumph in their own home markets. But Soichiro still had one dream left from childhood: cars. Government officials warned him Japan didn't need another automaker. Business advisors called it too risky. He didn't listen. Honda's first car, the T360 mini truck, debuted in 1963. It was followed by the S500 sports car, sleek and smooth, though only 1,300 were ever built. Then came Formula One. Honda debuted at the 1964 Belgian Grand Prix, and just 1 year later won their first F1 race at the 1965 Mexican Grand Prix. Then came the Honda Civic in 1972, compact, fuel-efficient, and built with Honda's own revolutionary CVCC engine technology that let drivers go farther on less fuel. When the 1970s oil crisis hit, the Civic was perfectly positioned. It also came with a catalytic converter for cleaner emissions, years ahead of most competitors. And then came the Honda Accord, the car that cemented Honda as a true global automotive force. By the end of the 1980s, Honda was the third largest car company on Earth.
In 1973, at age 67, Soichiro Honda did something almost no founder ever does voluntarily. He stepped down. He handed over leadership to a younger generation, saying the company needed fresh energy, not his ego. He spent his remaining years in his lab, tinkering, inventing, happy. He died in 1991, leaving behind a company worth hundreds of billions of dollars, employing hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. But here's what I want you to take from this story. Soichiro Honda didn't succeed despite his failures. He succeeded because of how he responded to them. Bombed factory? Rebuild. Failed piston rings? Try again. No degree? Who needs one? He once said, success is 99% failure. The man who said that built one of the greatest companies in human history. So the next time you fail, and you will, remember the boy from Komio who chased a car down a dirt road and refused to stop running. Subscribe if this story moved you, because there are 100 more just like it waiting for you here.